So, guys, we're here actually with Donnie Anderson. He's one of the senior buyers for Knight Automotive. And we're going to have a quick conversation with him just about Street Smart Certified, since this is an actual client of Smartwolf Consulting and being here on a daily basis. He's going to be one of the best people to talk about how getting this type of training, walking through it, and seeing it on a daily basis, how it can help you in the buying center and acquisition strategy. So, Donnie, understanding that, Donnie, that you were a salesperson for quite a long time and then moving into the buying center and going through this type of training, what did you see that was different than what you'd been taught before?
It's more process oriented. There's more of a structure for sure. You kind of know what your day is going to be out ahead of time. You set things up, and if you set them up correctly, the process takes care of that self. As far as different from sales, also from buying, sales is, I would say, majority of the time you have to rely on other things other things happening to be able to make sure you can have your cake and eat it too, kind of thing. Whereas in the buying, if you put the work in, you put the processes in that we do here every day with Smartwolf, it kind of takes care of itself. And once you get going on it, you become a pattern. And after that pattern, it becomes repetition, and then it just kind of flows.
Now, when you said that it's more process oriented and when you first started with this, it's safe to assume that it was very different and probably
Yes.
not easy. When you started getting it going from the reviews to testimonials to the consumer experience, what did you think with, the Street Smart Certified and that the different way of making the experience the first thing and not the transaction? How did that help you start getting better? And then to the point now that you almost get it every single time.
Just picking up, reading the room, knowing how the customer is interacting with me, you can kind of fill out people a little bit more and know what their hotspots are. And it is more service. I've had plenty of people, because of service I've given them, take less money or take a route just because they liked being treated properly versus treated just like they're another number or another person that comes and goes.
Okay, now we have to ask that one more time, guys, and especially for GMs as you're watching this, because I don't think if you caught it, and if you didn't, we're going to make Donnie say it again because I know this is going to be a question for everybody. So I want to make sure I heard you right with the training that you've received and the training, the basic training these guys are going to see in the studio. By making a customer experience first and providing that service, you were able to get people to do what? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. What did they do for you when you provided a better service?
Take less money.
They took less money. So in turn, that makes more profit for the store because it's a proven fact then that the experience has its own value, which can translate into you not having to overpay for a vehicle.
I'd like to throw in also getting people from LA, from different regions that are far from here, and just speaking to them correctly on the phone, and just being more of like a companion versus trying to sell them something or buy something from them, and just treat them like you would treat someone that you know, goes a long way. And to be honest with them, I mean, if you can't get to a number, you can't get to a number. But if you explain why you can't get to it, and you go through the process with them, and they start to understand where you're coming from, it's a lot easier transaction, money wise, and just the whole experience.
Great. And what would you say with the experiencing training and the and process orientation and changing in the buyer? What would you say the biggest impact was from coming from sales to being a buyer that you can now use, regardless of what position you went to, that would make you successful in anything you do?
Just the discipline. I think being in sales for a long time, you lose a lot of that discipline. You get kind of complacent and lazy. I think the discipline helped a lot. I also think Daryl's processes that he puts in place and not letting those be somewhat, thrown out the window. I mean, sometimes you got to make exceptions, but having Daryl to back up everything that I'm trying to do and explain if I have a process or if I'm trying to do a deal and he doesn't see what I'm trying to do, but if I explain to him where I got and how I got there and why I'm doing it, and then also just watching how he goes about things and learning from that part, taking it and doing it my own way.
Great. Appreciate the time. We just wanted to give you guys a little blip of exactly what the Street Smart certified type of training can do. And then when you apply it, and as Donnie said, and I probably couldn't have said it better myself, is that discipline, that hard work, but then keeping that process as much of the process you have to be black and white with the rare exception, but more importantly, that experience first is how you take that customer to where they want to deal with you and they don't go look to deal with anyone else.